Yvonne shared that with me just the other day, and I thought it would be perfect for tonight. And it is. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Unity in the Gold Country for our Love Fest tonight. And we've got some lovebirds over there at that table particularly. Look at that. Hey, thanks for showing up. So welcome, everybody. For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm the Reverend Jerry Farrell. I'm the Unity Minister here. And tonight we are delighted to have a healing process, living a life aligned with love. And we are delighted that one of our own congregants is going to be leading this tonight, Trudy Stoner. And so I know that you're all waiting to hear her wisdom and for me to get lost. So, Trudy, yay!
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you.
I will tread down the lonesome track, set my eyes on the wild and won't look back. I will follow where my heart reacts. Venture out to the great unknown, find a place where I can feel alive again. Throw caution to the wind. I'll find my feet on the way. I'll find my feet on the way. Climbing up from the valley below, seeing places and faces I've never known. I will follow to the open road. Through the trees till I see the sun. Now I know that I can feel alive again. Throw caution to the wind. I'll find my feet on the way. 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 Step by step I come alive, lift my hand up to the skies, won't look back, I'll chase the sun, live the life I'm dreaming of. I'll find my feet on the way. 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 I'll find my feet.
Good evening. How many of you have ever felt like that? I'll find my feet on the way. Yeah, I love that. So I made a little handout for you. They're on the table. And the first thing I have to do is acknowledge someone. So the little heart that you all have has been lovingly hand crocheted by Julianne. We had a lovely tea at her house, and she presented me with a bag of little hearts. And she said, "I thought these could help with your talk." Thank you. All right, so we're not going to go through the handout, but I am going to start with a quote from the handout. "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too." I'm going to start by sharing a future memory. When I say that, does anyone know what I'm talking about? So a future memory is different than a premonition. It's a memory where you know it just hasn't happened yet. And I started having a future memory about 15 years ago, way before I was a love coach, way before I ever thought about writing a book. And I'm on this stage, and it's big, and there's tons of people in the audience. And I can feel it. I can hear everything. I can feel the lights. I can feel the energy from the audience. I'm there. I know it's a memory. It just hasn't happened yet. I'm there speaking about my bestseller. Like I said, this memory came to me before I was ever a coach, before I ever wrote a book. So, when Anne asked me, "Hey, you want to kick off our speaker series in February for love?" Spirit said yes, before I could say no. My spirit stepped in front of fear. Love stepped in front of fear. Because in order for me to ever get to that future memory, I had to start somewhere. And I can't think of a more divine intervention than an invitation to start at Unity. Right? So, thank you. So I'd like to begin by giving you 2 questions to ponder. And I may ask for a few of you to come up and share. Volunteers, of course. I won't call you out. Maybe. First, and there's on the back, the last page is for notes. So you have something to write. What does living a life aligned with love mean to you? And you guys can just write them down and then ponder for a while. No rush. Yes. What does living a life aligned with love mean to you? And then as we go through tonight's talk, if you'd write down 3 takeaways that you are going to implement into your life. Yes. That was the second pondering. Okay, let's begin. So I have another vision. This one's not a memory. This is just something I made up because it feels good. I have this vision that before I incarnated, I was this little soul. And I'm at this table with God. And we're having a planning session where I'm choosing my life. And God says to me, what do you want to learn? What do you want to do? What do you want to learn? And I said, I want to learn about love. Perfect. Okay. And just like a father sending a child off to camp, he says, okay, you have your mission. You know what you're going to learn. Have so much fun. I'll see you when you get back. And I'm so excited, like so excited. I get to go to Earth and learn about love. I think it's going to be really good. So I say, okay, I'm ready. I'll see you when I get back. And off I go. And here I am. Well, it's funny how life works. Life likes to give you lessons that you need in order to learn what you desire. So my lesson started really young. Well, all of ours did. But mine started in the womb. Some of you know, some of you don't. I was adopted. And I found my biological family about 11 years ago. I found them because my mother had listed my father's name on the birth certificate. But she had hidden her whole pregnancy with me from everyone. I don't know how she pulled this off. She had 2 kids. She was separated from her husband. I'm pretty sure I was either the result of a one-night stand or a bar hookup. Not sure. But she wanted nothing to do with me. My father's side of the family, wonderful. So embraced, so loved. So that's the happy ending. But that's not the point of the story. We all have a love story. And when I ask people, tell me your love story, 9 out of 10 will start telling me about their first kiss, their first date, their wedding, a divorce. It's all romance. But what I'm looking for when I ask, tell me your love story, is what are the stories you tell yourself about love? We start telling ourselves stories about love when we are little. Sometimes on a cellular level, and then it grows with us. So imagine a baby in the womb. What do the cuddles, the coos, the rubbing of the belly. From the inside, it's the heartbeat, it's the sound of the voice. And then, at my birth, whisked away. I'm sure I was whisked away into the arms of a very loving stranger, but still a stranger. There's bonding, and there's separation. So with our love stories, even that early on, we start to create an idea, and we associate it, not at that stage, but with things like comfort and security and bonding and love. And for me, it was, where did my person go? What happened? So then, for 3 months, I'm not quite sure what happened. But I was 3 months old when I was adopted into my forever home. And I can imagine that I was probably in foster care. And again, a bond that was separated. Even for good intentions, right? But there was still bond, love, separate. So I didn't know any of this until 11 years ago. But I knew that I was anxiously attached in love. And I knew that I was terrified of abandonment and rejection. But I didn't know why. That was just the way I was. So then I'm adopted into a household, provisional. This is how they show love. In 64 years of marriage, I never heard my parents say, I love you. Not to me, not to my sister, not to each other. I saw them pet kiss once. So it was about provision and reward. So very quickly, love became something to get. I had to be good enough. It was a reward. It was not something that I was, and it wasn't an automatic, and it wasn't assumed. It was just be good, get love, be bad. It wasn't that they took love away, but I felt that. With our love stories, we all have an onion. And we start creating layers of stories as we grow, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm sure as I'm speaking, you're all thinking, wow, what's my love story? What are my onion layers? And it's not all bad, right? We have so many good things. My mom threw the most incredible birthday parties I've ever had. Holidays were off the charts. There wasn't a single Valentine's Day that I didn't wake up and there was like Valentine on the kitchen table. And I mean, there was love. It just wasn't spoken. And we learn about love through what we see, what we observe, what we're told, and what we feel, what we experience. So, about the time I could walk, my dad, very old-fashioned, starts telling me the story that I am to grow up, look pretty, and find a man. Not just any man, a husband, because women cannot survive without a husband. And my dad is 91. And if you went and sat with him today, he'll tell you the same thing. Like, sorry, Joe, no pressure. But he would say, she needs a husband, because otherwise she'll never make it. And this was another layer to the onion. So what do you guys think my experience of romantic love was like? Train wreck comes to mind. I mean, I didn't know what love was. I grew up in a house with a scientist. There was no God. True and true, proud atheist. Nothing, no higher power, nothing else to turn to. So, what do I turn to? I turn to the story that says, oh my God, I better find a man. And unfortunately, he didn't ever tell me that I should choose wisely, that I should choose someone that actually loved me, that they should be kind, that I should be cared for or cherished. It didn't matter. As long as they could provide, they were good to go. And so I found myself in a cycle, a very toxic cycle. And when I was 24, I had 2 little girls. One was 18 months old. The other one was 4 days old. And there was a knock on the door. And there was a woman standing on my porch. And you all remember the cartoon movie Roger Rabbit? So remember Jessica? Okay, she was on my porch. She was on my porch. And I'm 4 days postpartum. This is not what you want to see. And she tells me, as gently as possible, I'm an acquaintance of your husband's, and I'm 3 months pregnant. So, another layer to the onion. What's building here? I don't know what love is. I don't feel lovable. Something's wrong with me. Nobody wants me. Unworthy, unwanted, unchosen, broken. Completely broken. So, not rock bottom yet. Because I decide, okay, I'm done with this, so I'm going to jump out of the frying pan and into the fire. Because always what I was running from, that's backwards, what I was running to felt better than what I was running from. But it didn't mean it was healthy. because I didn't know where to turn for healthy. I didn't know what love was. So this went on for years. Now I have 4 beautiful daughters that I would not trade for anything. 6 grandbabies. Life was not all bad. But man, I had one hell of an onion. And it just kept growing, and I kept gathering evidence to prove my point. Unlovable, unworthy, not good enough, not anything enough. You name it. So much pressure. So, fast forward. I've got all these onions. Many years later, I'm in my late 40s. I've got teenage twins at home. And my husband at the time looks at me and says, "You are the angriest person I know." And it totally pissed me off. I'm like, you cannot possibly be talking to me. I am the nicest person you know. I am the yes girl. I'm the one that's here for you. I say yes. I'm the one making cupcakes at 2 a.m. for the classroom. I'm the one that doesn't know how to say no because I'm actively trying to get acceptance and love out there. Never has occurred to me. I'm like, at this part in the story, I'm like 48 years old, and it's never crossed my mind that I could be love or that there's anything loving about me. And so we have this conversation, and seriously, this was actually a gift. As mad as it made me, it got my attention because I thought, could he be right? And he was right. I was super mad. I was super mad at God because why does this keep happening to me? And I was super mad, but I didn't know it at myself because why do I keep doing this to me? And I remember going into the bathroom. There was so much chaos in my house. There was so much yelling, so much trauma. And I went into the bathroom and I shut the door and I locked it. And I sat down on the floor. And I had my very own eat, pray, love moment. Like, just tell me what to do and I will do it. And I was waiting, full of expectations for the lightning bolt, for the vision, for the voice, anything. And I got crickets. Nothing. So then I'm like, well, now I'm really mad. Where are you? What am I supposed to do with this? I don't know what to do. And I didn't get anything. So I endured for another year. And one day, sitting out on my deck, not stressed, not praying, not worried, purely immersed in nature, sun shining down, relaxed, and I got it. Divine intervention in one word, enough. I heard it. It's clear as day. Enough. And that was the day that I got introduced to love. I knew there was something higher. I had no idea what. I mean, I had been, obviously at 48, I had been introduced to Christianity. I knew about God, I knew about Jesus, but I never had a relationship. I never felt close. I felt like maybe they would shine favor on me if I was lucky, if I was good enough. Still, outside love. Love is out there, and if I'm good, I'll get it. So this divine intervention, this enough, cracked a door for me. It opened my eyes to say, oh my God, there's more. And I deserve more. And I'm not alone. Like somebody said enough, and that was enough for me. So I made a commitment. I left the marriage, and I said, okay, I'm going to go on a quest, and I'm going to learn about love. and I'm going to learn how to love myself. I'm going to get married again to me. I'm going to learn how to love me. Forget all this noise about I need a man. I don't need a man. I need me. And so I thought, okay, what do I have to do? So books, you know it, right? Barnes and Noble. Lots of books. I wanted to really crack the code. Like, what is this puzzle? What am I missing? What is it? I knew about love because I had kids. So when I first held my daughters, first of all, they were the first blood relatives that I had ever known. And then second of all, there was nothing more pure than looking into my baby's eyes, and there was nothing more unconditional than the way I felt about them. So again, here's like still onion layers, but good ones. Like, oh, this is like, okay, we've got a whole bunch over here that's kind of anti-love. We got a whole bunch over here that's starting to be pro-love. And I realized that I really couldn't love myself without a basic understanding of what love really is. So that was another deep dive for me. Like, what is love, really? I don't think it's something out there. I certainly don't feel that like when I hold my kids, even when they do things that are wrong. I never doubt that I love them, ever. So I'm missing something. And it was like, it started to kind of unfold. It wasn't quick, but I started this journey of healing, and I started this journey of believing in myself and trusting myself. And little did I know how far I could go in 9 years. But there was definitely some divine intervention at play here, because I've had moments since then where once that door was cracked and I listened, it was like a permission slip, right? An invitation. When we open to love, when we open to God, when we say, okay, I'm ready, fill me up, teach me, show me, it comes. And I'm going to introduce you to a healing process. And I really want to I wanted to do this in the section of love with the healing process, but I want, because we're here, on the second page, I always feel the need to tell everybody, because I've shared this, I made this copy because I have this on my wall. And I share this with every client that I have because it's fundamental. I tell them, like, if you want to live a life aligned with love, you actually have to understand love. And you have to be willing to understand that love is not something out there. It is something in here. We are actually love made manifest. I believe, as Wayne Dyer said, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. You probably figured that out from the vision, the whole God thing, choosing my life. You're unity people. This is not a hard crowd to convince. But do we live it? We can say it, but do we really embrace it? It's not as easy as it sounds. We're human. We get mad, we have emotions, we react, and we have love stories. And our love stories are what are creating the triggers. Our love stories are creating the habits and how we react when things happen. So living a life aligned with love, you learn to rewrite your love story. You really learn that your love story is something you created. So it's something you can recreate at any time. It's not our love experiences, it's our love story. It's our belief about love. So when I did this, deep inside, I was like, oh my gosh, that's good news. That's really good news. Like, I have power over this. I have control over this. I can rewrite my love stories. And then it got even better because I realized that even the onion was an illusion. That I even made up the onion, which meant I don't have to peel it back layer by layer by layer to find love. I can just get rid of it. Stop thinking it. Change my love story. Change my thinking. So, Corinthians, you know, anybody ever been to a wedding where they didn't have this? I mean, we all have read this, but when we live this, it's not easy to do. But it will transform your relationships, and it will change your life, especially if you learn to do it with you. So take a moment here. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. When I started falling in love with myself, I did something called mirror work. And Louise Hay is the one that, she wrote a book about it. And if you've ever done it, you know that the first couple times is rough. It's not easy to look in a mirror and look in your own eyes and really mean it and say, I love you. But you can do it and you can practice. And over time, I not only learned to say I love you and mean it, I learned to be able to look at this and ask myself the question, am I being this for me? Am I patient, kind, not easily angered? And here's the one. It keeps no record of wrongs. Like, are we guilty of that? Come on, every single one of us. It is so hard to do because we feel so righteous in our anger. We feel so like, yeah, but, I mean, your ego will step in with a yeah, but just like that. Yeah, but they did this to me, or this happened, or that happened. And we will build a case to justify keeping a record of wrongs. And if we really want to align with love, we really have to align with this. And it's a daily practice. It's something that you wake up in the morning. Abraham Hicks says the first 17 seconds are the most critical time of the day. Because when we sleep, we reset. And then when we wake up in the morning, we have a clean slate energetically. So those first 17 seconds, whatever we think about, is shooting off a flare, like a rocket. And it picks up momentum as we go. So your first 17 seconds should be in gratitude, not worrying about what bills you have to pay, not worrying about the fight you had with your person. Should be in gratitude and appreciation. And get your vibration up so that then you can go out throughout your day. So I have another video for you. Maybe we can turn this one up a little bit. And then we're going to go to break. There's like all sorts of goodies in the back. And then when we come back, like maybe 10 minutes, and then when we come back, I'm going to introduce you to a healing process in 4 steps to align with love.
Let me speak to that person that feels like they lost their worth or their value. This is a dollar bill. Now, if I go to the store and there's something for 90 cents, can I buy it with this dollar bill? Okay, all right. So if I go to the store and there's something for 85 cents and after tax, it ends up being 96 cents, can I buy it with this dollar bill? Okay, all right. So what if I ball the dollar bill up? Think about it now. Like, I just balled the dollar bill up, like, so it can't be worth $1 now. It's probably worth like 95 cents, right? How much you think it's worth? $1. Listen, y'all gotta pay attention. I just balled it up, so clearly it's not worth $1 anymore. All right, so maybe, what if I step on it? What if I stomp it? I just stomped it. How much is it worth now? Maybe 65 cents, 68 cents? It's still worth $1? Okay, what if I ball it up? What if I stomp on it and then I put it in the trash can and it's in here with some trash and it's around some beer and some gum and a bunch of other nasty stuff and some guy off the street pulls the dollar out, unfolds it. How much is it worth now? Maybe 82 cents? And come on, at least 92 cents? It's okay, all right, so what if I ball it up? What if I step on it? What if I put it in trash and then, watch this, I tear it in half? Think about it now, right? How much is it worth now? $1? I could tape it? Whoa. Shh. Wait. Wait a second. I just balled it up. I just stepped on it. I put it in trash. I pulled it out. Then I tore it in half. And you mean to tell me I can pick the dollar up, I can wipe it off, and I can put some tape around it, and it's still worth $1? Then why, if this dollar doesn't lose its worth or its value, then why do you feel like you've lost your worth and value? Because many of you feel like you've been stepped on, you feel like you've been pushed aside, you feel like you've been abandoned, you feel like you've been talked about, you feel like you've been abused, like someone took from you, someone hurt you, somebody took advantage of you, and deep down inside your core, you feel like you've lost some of your value. And I am here to tell you today that this dollar still has worth and value, because there are some men years ago who put value over this life and said that no matter what happens to it, it can still be taped back together. It can still be wiped off. And I am here to tell you that you were created and you're born and you're here and you have life and you have purpose and you have value. And though you've gone through some hard times and though you've experienced some depression and you might be wanting to hurt yourself and you might want to give up, I am here to tell you still got worth and value. And there is nothing that can happen that can take your worth and your value away. So what you gotta do now, is you gotta pick yourself up. You gotta dust yourself off and you gotta keep moving.
Okay, let's have a break. That was a little bit awesome. Kind of a lot of it. Well, it was mousy the first time. Okay. So I promise you, the second half is better, like not so much drama. Because the one thing that I can say about falling in love with love and having a relationship with Spirit is that it changes everything. So, yes, I did come here to learn about love and to teach about love. And I had to go through what I went through to have that side of the understanding. But I can tell you that in the last 8 years, it's been a quantum leap. Like aligning with Spirit, aligning with love, I have learned more about love in the last 8 years, real love, true love, than I did in the 50 years prior. And so it's like exponential growth. And I get downloads all the time. And it's a connection, and it feels so good. And when you live aligned with love, like the really good part is that you get to a place where nothing out there can disrupt that. Nothing can take it from you. So you can be in joy, in peace, in love, even when things are stormy out here. It takes work. You know, sometimes we gotta like rein in our habits and our reactions. But we know how to do it. Like when you get that toolbox and you start practicing it, it comes more naturally and it makes it really fun. It's a lot more peaceful. So a healing process. It's not published yet. That was a typo. On the flyer it said forthcoming, but in the bulletin it said published. I said, okay, that's a future memory. So on the table, there is a sign-up sheet. Anybody that wants me to notify you when it's published, which should be, I mean, the publisher is literally emailing me every day going, do you have it? Do you have it? Do you have it? So it'll be soon. But I'm happy to email you and let you know when it's done. So this book, the idea of this book, not the title, came to me in like 2012. And I was still in a very toxic marriage and super stressed out. And I thought, somebody ought to write a book about this crap. Right? Like, love is hard. You grieve, you lose things. Like, somebody ought to write a book about this, like how to cope. And I was so in my head and studying, like, I'm going to get resources, and I'm going to Google everything about loss and grief, and I'm going to, that's what this is going to be about. And it didn't, it was so out of my heart. It was so in my head. And it didn't feel right. And I was still really angry, still in my angry phase. So I put it on a shelf, and I forgot about it for years. In 2015, after my second grandbaby was born, I was visiting at my daughter's house. And I woke up one morning, and literally out of the blue, I hadn't been thinking about that book. I hadn't touched it. And I was instructed, this was my second. The first one was enough, right? Divine intervention. This was my second direct hit from Spirit. And it was grab a piece of paper, because it's coming fast. And I grabbed a notepad, and it was completely poured out and given. You will write a book called The Healing Process. And HEAL is an acronym for heart, energy, alignment, and love. And I was like, okay. And I just wrote it down. I didn't even know what it meant. I'd never heard of Abraham. I had never seen Esther Hicks. The most I'd done was Wayne Dyer. And so this idea of energy and alignment, I'm like, where? I don't even know what that means. But there was a trust, and it was like, okay, it'll come. It'll come. So I wrote down what I got, and it wasn't the whole book, it was really the outline. And then I sort of knew that it would come. And then about a year later, I was in Alaska, and a friend of mine she was converting part of her home into an Airbnb. And she had this really beautiful cabin overlooking the Kenai River. And I got to stay in the cabin. And I went in and I'm looking through, she had a little collection of DVDs. And I'm looking through it, and there's an interview with Wayne Dyer and Esther Hicks. And I thought, well, I love Wayne Dyer. I don't know who Esther Hicks is, but I love Wayne Dyer. So I pop it in, and I sit there for 2 hours listening to them talk about my book. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I wrote. That's what I wrote. How did I know that? What's happening? It was a little bit scary, but it was a lot cool. I was sobbing. It was like Spirit spoke directly to me. I got it so clear. Same message, different messenger. That was huge for me. It wasn't exactly the same, but all the doubts I had about what, I don't get it. What do you mean? Heart, energy, alignment, and love. I get the heart part. I get the love part. But I don't know anything about the energy part or the alignment part. So what do I do with this? And then it started to come. And everywhere I turned was more information about energy, about vibration. I read the Power versus Force with Dr. David Hawken, and he talks about the map of consciousness. He talks about how our emotions, when they're calibrated on a vibrational level, goes all the way from shame and despair, all the way up to joy and love, really high vibrations. Anything lower than 200, considered a low vibration. Anything above, considered a high vibration. How to manage them. All of this is new information pouring into me, and I'm soaking it up like a sponge because I know I've been told to write this book. And so what I didn't know was how many changes would be made over the years. I always was like, okay, is this fear? What's stopping me? And now in hindsight, I can see there were still lessons. There was still so much more to learn so that I could put it into the book. And so I think I'm done. But it went from a healing process, life after toxic love, which was really my agenda, to a healing process, living a life aligned with love, which is Spirit's agenda. So it's been a process. And the 4 steps have become fundamental, even though the book's not out yet. I've been using the 4 steps in my coaching practice now for years. And it's become foundational to the work that I do with my clients. So I'm going to take you through that. So, if you will, we have to just stop here for just a moment on this little quote page. Because that video about the dollar bill, it resonated so deeply in me because I really, really did spend the majority of my life feeling like I didn't have value or worth and very broken. And that turns into a cycle because in any relationship, in jobs, in romantic relationships, when you come at it from a place of less than and you don't think you have value, you don't have boundaries. And so when you don't have boundaries, you don't protect yourself, you don't take care of yourself, you don't love yourself. And so that video was nothing can take away your value. Nothing. Just like nothing can take away your love. And I have a really good story about that. So Maya Angelou, she said, I did then what I knew how to do. Now that I know better, I do better. That, along with one that's not on here, which is when the tide comes in, all the boats rise, those are my 2 favorites. Because I feel like when you live a life aligned with love, all manner of abundance shows up in your life, in every area of your life. You're an energetic match. You're like literally a vibrational match. And it just starts coming. And it's like in friendships, in churches, in relationships, it's like in all areas of your life. The clients I attract, everything. It's total transformation. So that's part of that, your value. When you know better, you do better. And I know better now. And then this one just was from Tuesday night, Way of Mastery, and I loved it. There is no power that can stop us from loving besides ourselves. You have total control over this. I thought that was really powerful. Okay. A healing process. Heart. So, in the book, I go into a lot of detail, and with my clients, we go into a lot of depth about your heart center and being the seat of the soul, being the real connection to spirit, the real connection to love. If you ask, they did a poll, and they asked all sorts of little kids, where does love live in your body? Every time. Heart, my heart. So it's so important. And the heart actually is an energy center in our body. And so, like befriending the heart, loving your heart, trusting your heart, right? Like, sometimes it's used as a bad excuse. Oh, the heart wants what the heart wants. And we think we can't trust it. Don't trust your heart. Never trust your heart. It'll hurt you every time. The fact of the matter is it's not your heart. Love has never broken a heart. Love does not hurt people. People hurt people. But love is perfect. Love doesn't hurt people. So when we connect to our heart center, I have exercises that I do. One is to determine clarity, like to get to your heart's core desires. And sometimes this is memories. Sometimes this is work where it's like, where am I being blocked? Like Michelangelo, when he sculpted the David, they said to him, how did you do that from a big thing of marble? And he said, oh, it was easy. I just carved away everything that wasn't David. Well, if we want to live a life aligned with love, it's easy. Get rid of anything that's not love. Like, it doesn't have to be harder than that. So when we get in touch with our heart's core desires, we are clear. What is my mission? What is it that I really desire in this lifetime? When we're coming at it from a heart center, it's going to go way beyond the Porsche, right? It's going to be about, I'm here to serve. What am I here to really do? What's my purpose? And so getting clear about that, and you can write that down, like your heart's core desires, and spend a little time pondering that. What is it? The other thing that we work on is significantly broken places. So that's another thing that lives tucked away, and it feels like it's in the heart. And that would be the marble. That would be anything that blocks love. It would be our stories that are blocking us. It would be our beliefs about love, resentments, lower vibration emotions, significantly broken places that need to be healed. They need the elixir of love to be healed so that then we can fully step into the energy of our heart. The heart serves to remind you to return to love and to remind you of the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the one where I was the little soul going to earth to learn about love. When I look at that context, that's huge. So when I think little, I think unlovable. I had this happen. When I think big context, oh my God, this is my mission. This is what I was here for. I was sent to do this, and I'm rocking it. Right? I am learning about love. I'm kicking ass and taking names. So, remind yourself of the bigger picture. When I'm going through these 4 for you, I want you to just tuck it in the back of your mind that this, with time, is something that becomes habitual. Like, this is what I practice with my clients. To get into a state where you start asking yourself, this is like the practice that I said. Getting aligned with love takes practice. It's not something we're used to. You guys are probably way more used to it than most people out there. But most people, it doesn't even occur to them. It doesn't even occur to them. So when you start saying you can work this like a muscle, you can practice this, you can get to a place where you literally check in with yourself. Heart, energy, alignment, love. Boom, 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 boom. Heart, return to love. Energy, do a body scan. Alignment, am I aligned with my purpose, my values, with what I say I want, my heart's core desires? And love, always the great elixir, always the answer. Quick, 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 quick. Check. You can do it in seconds, and it'll bring you right back to your heart center. So that is the intention with this, for you to tuck away as we go through them. So energy. We all know that we're energy, that we are energetic beings, and love is the highest vibration in the universe. We come from love. We return to love. So our natural state is a very high vibration. But just like the sun, when it's shining all the time, but we have a really cloudy day, and we think it doesn't, will the sun ever come out again? We don't think it's there. It's the same with our energy. It's going to ebb and flow based upon our emotions, our feelings, and our thoughts. Our thoughts create our experience of life. They create our reality. So from the time you're born until the time you take your last breath, literally everything is gone through a filter, your own unique filter of thought. And you assign meaning. Course in Miracles says it, Way of Mastery says it, everything is neutral. We assign meaning, and we do it with our thought. So if you're in a low energy, check your thoughts. If you are feeling, and it's not that low emotions are bad. Feel them, it's okay. It is all part of the human experience. So I don't want it to sound like, oh my God, we have to be above 200 all the time. We have to stay high vibe. We're not allowed to be sad. We're not allowed to be mad. We're not allowed to feel. That is not the case at all. In fact, so many of these emotions in our body get stored because they're energy. They need to be acknowledged to be released. We need to sit with them. We need to go into the wound sometimes to then heal it from the inside out. Slapping Band-Aids does not work. So it's okay to have lower emotions. But the thing is that you can start to turn the ship around. You can start to realize that if I'm assigning meaning and my thoughts are creating my reality, I can start to body scan and figure out what's happening right now. Okay, I'm feeling angry. Why am I feeling angry? I think that maybe Joe left dishes in the sink. Just kidding. But what's my thought? What's my thought creating it? What's going on? Or it might be that something, maybe it's sadness. And it's okay. It's sadness. It's like, oh, I'm feeling really sad. What am I thinking about that's causing that? Maybe I'm thinking about something that had just happened to someone that I care about. Maybe whatever it is. Sit with it and acknowledge it. But we can also get really good at managing our thoughts. We've all done it. We have all done it. So I have people that say to me, I can't help it. I can't stop thinking about that. And that's not the truth. You can. Because think about when you are involved in a project and you're busy and you're focused and the thought pops into your head, what are we going to have for dinner? But you're busy. You're in the middle of something. Maybe you're at work. And you don't have time for that thought right now. You're not going to stop everything that you're doing and switch gears and figure out what are we going to have for dinner just because that thought popped into your head. You have as much control over literally every thought that comes into your head as you do, what am I going to have for dinner? We just think that some thoughts are more powerful. They're only more powerful because we give them more power. We are in control of this. We can change this. We can learn to manage them. And one of the ways that we can do this is, again, connecting the dots. It's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? It doesn't really matter. You feel it, you can acknowledge it, but you can also question the thought. Ask yourself, is this where it's originating? Or is it the opposite? Like, am I feeling something? We have a lot of energy in our bodies. We have a lot of intuition. Maybe something's coming up that needs to be acknowledged and validated. And then we choose what we're going to think about that. But we have that power. You can do a body scan where literally head to toe, really quickly, you can check in with yourself and just feel it. Just kind of quickly go through and do a body scan. Where do you feel tension? Do you feel joy? Do you feel anxiety? Do you feel pain? Do you feel relaxed? Like, just check in with your body. And if you find a spot, like for me, it's right here, right now. What is it? Oh, I'm speaking in front of a lot of people. Okay, it's nerves. So then I go, what's the thought? I hate public speaking. That's the thought that's creating this. I can manage that. You guys are all the most loving beings I've ever met in my life. I'm safe. It's cool. So okay, we're good. But it's there, right? And I can check in and feel it. I can also feel at my heart center, there's a lot of love. And I feel really good. I feel really safe. I feel really peaceful. So check in and get good at that. One of the fastest ways to raise your vibration is gratitude. In addition to managing your thoughts, gratitude. Laughter. It has been scientifically proven. It really is the best medicine. Go get on YouTube and laugh. Just seek it out. Connection with people. Music. Dancing. Figure out what your high vibe triggers are. And make a list of them. So that when you are feeling in a lower energy and you want to be in a higher energy, you can have tools to make it happen. And then the third is alignment. So it's really important that our thoughts and our energy then align with our actions. That our intention is to be in alignment. Because like tuning forks, we all know, back to the energy piece and the law of attraction and manifestation. But here's the thing, even if you're not trying to purposely manifest something, you're always manifesting. And you can just see. You want to know the quality of your thoughts? Look at your results. It's feedback. What's happening in our world is feedback for where we are and what we're in alignment with. We are always in alignment with something. We are always manifesting. So look at your results. If you want to attract more love, be more loving. You want to attract more laughter, laugh more. Get your energy in a place where you are like a tuning fork and you're magnetic to what it is that you want to attract in your life and what you want to experience in your life. So it's important to just check in. Okay, I said my heart's core desire is this, and I feel like my energy is high, so what's the next action step that I'm going to take? I really, really, really want to get in shape and be healthy and fit, and my energy feels good, and I'm going to sit on the couch and watch Netflix and eat potato chips. Out of alignment. It's not going to happen. So make sure that you are in inspired action and you're in alignment. And then finally, my absolute favorite, of course, is love. We talked about what love really is. We went through Corinthians. We know that love is not something that's out there, it's something that's in here. To me, whether you say God, universe, source, infinite intelligence, love, it's all the same. And something happened to me. It was, I guess, the third. It would be the third major divine experience that I had. So back in 2018, I had started dating a man, and it was healthy. It was healthy. It was it was like a breakthrough. And it didn't work out. And I got dumped. I'd never been dumped before in my life. I picked guys on purpose that were more broken than me because I didn't want to get rejected or abandoned. So I had a strategy here. And so when I picked someone that wasn't broken, I got dumped. I was like, what is this? But it was another learning opportunity. And it was fine. It was just not in alignment. And it was huge growth for me. But then 3 weeks later, my mom died. So I'm feeling like, okay, right when I'm getting on track, the rug gets pulled out again. And I was sitting in my condo in Boise, and I sat down at the top of my stairs, and I literally had my head in my hands, and I was just crying. And this has happened to me twice. What I'm going to explain to you now. Once when I was in the hospital with COVID, and this time in 2018. It was not a near-death experience. I was fine, but it was purely an out-of-body experience. My spirit separated from my physical form and was hovering and observing me sitting on the steps. I felt both. I was fully embodied in both at the same time. And what this Trudy was witnessing was this one suffering. And all of a sudden, white and yellow light that almost looked like raindrops came through like a cloud, in through the top of my head, through my body, out through my feet, in a swirling motion, all around me, through me. It warmed me up. I stopped crying. I'm holy, what is happening? I'm up here, I'm down here. Like, this is new. And what I felt was the most incredible, internal, inside to outside hug from love. I knew in that moment, without a shadow of a doubt, that I was love. That the love I felt for him, the ex-boyfriend, the love I felt for my mom, there was no void. I made that up. It was an illusion. I was completely full. The love that I felt for them always came from me, and nobody could take that away from me. And it was so freeing. I stopped crying. I was like, oh my God. It's like when you hear what you guys have seen the meme, right? When Glenda, the good witch, says to Dorothy, my dear, you had the power all along. It was like, oh my gosh, I've had the power all along. It was amazing. And it never left me. Like I have known. It was such a supernatural experience that I am love and that no one can take it from me. Even when a relationship changes, even when someone passes away, the love that I feel never goes away because it's generated inside of me. So that was a huge breakthrough for me. The second time that happened was when I was in the hospital in 2021 with COVID and critical care, and that wasn't as fun. I separated from my body, and once again, the two were communicating. Like, I'm in the bed, in the physical form, really fighting for my life. And the spirit, Trudy, is observing and talking to me. And she's saying things like, you know we're okay. Like, it's all good. No matter what happens, we're going to be fine. Like, stop worrying. Like, really, truly, everything is good. And, I mean, I don't remember audibly that it was this kind of playful. I was pretty serious when I was like fighting for I'm like, no, we're not done. I don't want to go anywhere. And yet there was this very peaceful energy about it. There was this very incredibly peaceful energy that said, honestly, I am okay either way. Like, I know that I know that I know that I'll be okay either way. That I'm not really going anywhere. And my biggest worry was my kids, like how hard it was going to be on them. But I felt that same love. I also experienced literally every prayer, every bit of love. When we do our prayer list, take it seriously, because I physically felt and received every single prayer. Every heartfelt, sending you love, sending you energy. I had friends sending me meditations. I had friends sending me light language and sound healing, and I put in my earbuds and I just lay there and listen, and I would take light into my lungs, visualizing. I talked to my girlfriend in Wisconsin and I said, I can't feel my light. My lungs are dark. When I visualize them, they look like tar. And she said, Trudy, borrow mine. And I did. I just did. I connected to hers, and I borrowed her light, and I saw that light coming through me and into my lungs and like opening them up like a garden blooming as the life came back into me. That's the power of love. That's what aligning with love will do for your life. And it is now my mission statement for my business is changing the world one heart at a time. And sometimes I don't even know how that's going to happen. But I have to just surrender and trust that the right things will come along at the right time, the right people. Right now, on my Facebook group, I'm doing 29 days of love. And I just show up live every single day for 29 days, and I talk about love. And it's different every day. And I don't always know what I'm going to talk about in advance. I led a mastermind last year for one whole year called The Only Love Experience with a group of women. And our intention, started on Valentine's Day last year, was we are going to live our lives aligned with love for 1 year until it becomes a habit and it becomes our default. And we went through it together, right? We met every single Monday at 7:30 in the morning so that we could start our week out aligned with love, and we could support each other when anybody got off track. And the commitment I made was not to hijack the agenda. So Joe knows this. A lot of anxiety. Sunday nights. What am I going to talk about tomorrow? I'm leading this group. I don't have anything. I got nothing. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And then the surrender. This is what I promised I would do. I promised I would trust you. I promised I would wait for the lessons. And every single Monday for the last year, I've woken up at around 5:30 to 6 in the morning with a full download. Today's agenda is this. And I go and I teach it, and then we get on with our week. And it was such a beautiful practice to get into, to trust, to surrender, to just know I would be guided and led. So my mission, changing the world one heart at a time. I want to close with a meditation. So I'm going to ask Kelly to put on some music, and I'm going to ask you guys to close your eyes Put your feet on the floor and get comfortable. And afterwards, if you want to do some Q&A, I'm happy to answer any questions, and I'll ask anyone that wants to share for any of the questions that I asked. Okay. So take a deep breath in and exhale. Another deep breath. And release. Feel your body relaxing. Let your shoulders fall. One more deep breath. And let it out. Now imagine you are the soul preparing to come. You're the one with God, making plans. What do you want to learn on this journey to Earth? In this incarnation, what do you want to learn? You're choosing. What's your purpose? What's your deep desire? You get to come to Earth. You get to come. You're chosen. Lean into the excitement and into the wonder. Feel it. You cannot wait. And as you make your plans, you say goodbye and you say, I'll be back soon. And now you're here. From this place, move to the end of your life and look back. Not with regret, simply notice. It's never too late to begin living your life's purpose. Ask yourself, am I aligned with love? Am I living a life aligned with my plan? With my soul's vision? If not, what would I need to do to begin living in alignment with my soul's vision? What would happen if I looked at all through the eyes of love? What would be possible if I saw everything through the eyes of love? Now, see yourself currently living this life, moment by moment, day by day, aligned with love. You are radiant and open, responsive instead of reactive, calm, peaceful, confident, kind, compassionate, full of love. Feel it. Feel it in every cell of your body. Let it open you up. Embrace it. Be excited by it. This is when it gets good. You can always rewrite your love story. It is never too late to live a life aligned with love. Every day that we wake, we are given a new chance to do it again, to do it better. Hold on to this feeling. Let it elevate. Let it rise. Raise that vibration. Think about this life. What a gift. What a gift to love. What a gift to use your senses. What a gift to be here and experience everything. And how much better when we experience it through the eyes of love. Hold this feeling and slowly return to your body. Take a deep breath, and when you're ready, open your eyes. I want to thank you for coming tonight. And now, I will open it up for Q&A, but before I do, for any that have to go, I want to just leave you with this. Let's go change the world one heart at a time. You're welcome. Thank you. So if anybody would like to either ask a question or share with us the two prompts that I gave you in the very beginning. This mic is live. I'd like to ask you to come up to it. I think I must have done a really good job if you're all complete. Oh, well, you can do it from your chair if you want to. You can either just share or you can ask. And if not, then we have lots of yummies back there. Yeah.
Well, I would like to express my gratitude to you for sharing this with us tonight.
Thank
Yes, incredible, wonderful. I
Thank you.
have, some people know I've had an amazing healing journey myself, and I can vouch for that feeling of feeling the prayers, feeling the energy. And that's new for me.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last few years. But it is a practice that's constantly developed.
Mhm.
And the more attention we give it, the more we notice it. So thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Thank
Amazing.
you. Thanks for sharing. Okay, are we good? Yeah? Mm. Love them. Love them. I mean, there's not a lot more you can do, right? Because for me, during that stage of my life, before I was really introduced to love and really introduced, and I did have a divine intervention, I believe that's available to anyone. And I think that, just like my girlfriend said, borrow my light, like we can, they don't even realize it, but if they're in our energy field and we are holding space and holding love, then that's influencing them whether you can see it or not. And it might just be the bridge to their own like holy instant where they have the awakening, or they, and it's sad because it's really hard because some people are so separated from love, and they do see love as sort of the, like an, not an enemy, but as like a scary thing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and when you hold space for them, they're taking in more than they may be admitting, right? And so because of that macho thing, it's like they may be having quiet breakthroughs and they just don't know how to express it, and they're not going to share that with their buddies. And so unless, you know, and some might, I am a big advocate for therapy if you can, you know, access that. But for what you can do working with them, I would just say just pour, I mean, even if it's just energetically visualization, just hold space and pour the love, because they will feel it. They can't help but feel it. Yeah, sometimes it's hard. If somebody did that to me at certain stages in my life, there's no way it would have gotten through. It had to be the right timing. But the people that were holding space for me on the journey, I didn't realize how much it obviously was sinking in. I just didn't know it at the time. And I would have told you all the things. Love sucks. It's hard. You know, I'm not going to ever do that love thing again. So if I can come this far, thank you. All right, anybody else? Okay, you guys, thank you so much for coming. You're welcome.
Let everybody know that Trudy, with her talk, we've raised with donations from everything, 800 plus.
Woohoo! Yay!
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome. Thank
And
you.
it's all going to the roof, right? You all know that, right? Okay.
Excellent.